going to give you 3 reasons why you may want to option the limited trim for the 2026 Toyota Crown in heavy metal over black interior. The Limited in the XLE gets 6 different colors on the exterior. The Nightshade only 2 colors, and the Platinum gets 10 total colors, and it changes out the powertrain, giving us 104 more horsepower, changing the ECVT transmission to a 6-speed automatic transmission. But standard features and options is where it's at. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons while I'm going over the full specs of the exterior, the interior. Take it for a test drive so you can see the performance and your everyday use. In the front, the Limited trim, why is it a sweet spot? We're going to start off with the quad LED headlights to daytime runnings. It starts on this trim and it goes up to the Nightshade as well as the Platinum tier that integrates into the top portion of the grille. The XLE will not get that. 5.8 inches of clearance, that's across the board of all of the Crowns. The enlarged grille, I mean, it's an eyesore, but it does have some functionality on the lower bit just above the satin aluminum. But I do like the glossy black elements because it looks a lot more stylish. This is basically an SUV and a sedan together, giving a fastback design, but it's still a sedan. House underneath the hood, it's going to get the 2.5 liter hybrid 4-cylinder, producing a combined of 236 horsepower and 163 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an ECVT transmission. Now, before you tick off the video because you say, I don't want an ECVT transmission, this is not the same as a CVT transmission. The difference is the CVT transmission works with pulleys and belts which go bad. The ECVT transmission is based on a planetary gear set, electric motors to seamlessly manage power flow from the engine and the battery. This allows for the effective power delivery, smooth acceleration, and regenerative braking, and that's going to achieve 42 mpgs for the city, 41 mpgs for the highway. That's not going to be the case when you go into the Platinum tier that gets 104 horsepower more than this in the 6-speed automatic transmission. Plus, it's going to change the suspension, and you'll be standard with these 21-inch wheels, where this is an upgrade. 19-inch wheels come standard on the XLE in this trim. The Platinum trim will also have another twist, because you can have 2 different paint colors on the exterior, and the only way you can do that is by ticking the box to the Platinum. 12.9-inch disc reading for the front, with a 12.5 for the back, with a McPherson strut front suspension. Both the front and the rear will have a stabilizer bar and a multi-link rear suspension. Normally, I would say, you know, just tick the box to the Platinum because you're getting the Turbo Hybrid Max engine, which is giving a ton of power. Motivation is nearly 2 seconds faster than this. This is at 7.6 seconds. That drops it literally in the 5-second margin. But because of the pricing of it, once you start going into the Platinum tier, you're around $60,000, especially if you're going to option the 2 different paint colors. At that point, you may want to look at Lexus. This is the sweet spot because you're getting the butter smooth drive, better MPGs, it's enough performance, it's a hybrid for God's sakes, and you can option features that make this just as good as the Nightshade and the Platinum trim. Standard LED taillights that wrap into the Toyota badge. Crown print just underneath the grille pattern. The lower gets the reverse sensors, which front and rear parking sensors, you don't get that when you're going onto the XLE. So you kind of have to go to the Limited trim in order to get the features, which is the second reason why I would choose this. Because the XLE, yes, you're getting a lot of base features, but you're also losing some of Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which includes the pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, full speed range, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steer alert, auto high beam, road sign assist, lane tracing assist, proactive driving assist, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic assist, tire pressure monitor system, and a total of 8 airbags through the interior. And when you're buying a hybrid, you need safety because it's a practical everyday vehicle for the family, and you want styling, so it ticks the box to all of that. Quick release, unfortunately it's not opening. Well, there is one little twist to the Crown. That's why I did this purposely. You got to go into the passenger seat here, open up this glove box here, and there's a little button here for the trunk opener. You push that, and now we should be good to go. You get the 15.2 cubic feet of storage by pushing the button. And underneath the floor gets a spare tire, split fold the rear bench, pull these tabs here, That's going to split at a 40-60 to maximize the cargo capacity to the Crown. The key fob to the Crown Limited. 10-way power seat adjustment for the front, heated ventilated seats. That's standard on all trims. Memory for the driver is only going to start on the Limited trim, so you can't get that on the XLE. And it's not really a driver-focused setup, so I appreciate that. JBL sound system with 11 speakers. Standard is a 6-speaker. But the twist is you only get 8-way power seat adjustment. For the passenger side, there isn't any sleeve of storage. And this area kind of indicates that it's a driver-focused setup. But you have plenty of leg space and knee space for the front occupants. And you have a his and her or a passenger / driver side to open it up. You got a little area for some change, and it is a pretty deep storage pocket with a 12 volt and a USB port. Let's fire it up. "10-inch heads-up displays only on the Platinum tier. Getting the digital rear view mirror goes up the tier. 2 12.3-inch screens is going to be standard on all, with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. And because we're in the Limited trim, you can option what we have, a 360-degree reverse camera. The trajectory does expand, and you can change that trajectory so it's not there. You can have it with the toe, and you can change different layouts for the reversing. Dual climate control settings is standard with a standard wireless charging pad. You click onto the view, and now you have your bird's eye view. You can pause it. And you can also expand it out. It's going to have a glossy black, but it has a shimmer to it, so you'll see a sparkle. I like that. This does lift up, so you have more storage compartments here with 2 USB-C ports, the cup holders, and your driving mode select, which includes 4 different driving modes, which one of them is custom. And that you'll go over here and hit onto the settings, and you can change everything for the powertrain, steering, and your air condition. The gauge cluster can go through an array of different settings, including Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. And you can also change the content in either of the sides. So you can have your fuel economy, EV ratio, you can put the navigation and slide into the center. You can do the same thing, as well as going over onto the right side. Leather wrap steering wheel is standard with a multi-functionality. But if you want a power telescoping steering wheel, you'll have to go up to the Platinum tier. Heated comes standard. Leg space is more than enough. Check out this headroom. Look at that. And the panel moonroof, it actually starts on this trim with LED interior lights. Door panel and dash configure it together nicely, and you'll have the one touch up and down for your windows, soft to touch where it needs to be, with a medium-sized storage pocket and a beverage holder carved out. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the cup holders and armrests down, 2 USB-C ports, air vents. Storage behind both of the front seats. The door card gets the heated seats, and that's standard on all trims. Soft to touch where it needs to be. It's the same configuration and basically the same size storage. Sitting behind me, the seats are carved out, so you're going to have plenty of leg room. Even though it's kind of a hatchback design, you still have plenty of headroom because they've actually carved it out for you behind the panel moonroof. Sliding into the center, you're going to share some feet space, but the rails are pushed up enough. You will have to kind of scoot down, unfortunately, because I'm over 6 foot tall. So that's going to make it a little bit less comfortable for somebody tall like me sitting, because, I mean, check out my knee space. But then I can actually fit back here because the way this head is. If this was a little bit more forward, then I can sit a little bit more comfortable. But sitting like this to give people areas so they could use those charging ports, I'm not gonna fit here. Just put me on the sides. 236 horsepower out of this hybrid powertrain. Getting great MPGs. We are 104 horsepower less than the hybrid max, but 340 horsepower, yeah, I am all about power. All-wheel drive is standard, which it's kind of cheeky the way they do it, because when you go into Camry, you're losing 4 horsepower from the all-wheel drive configuration to this. Turn radius is about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Smooth transition. Now, obviously, you're going to hear the engine whenever you are mashing on the gas pedal. There's no way around that. But overall, you don't really hear anything in the interior of the cabin. You have your driving mode select, so you can change the configuration. You have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which is the latest safety, and you get the latest technology. And that's gonna take me to the pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is you get a lot of standard features when you go to the Crown. The Limited even goes that extra step because you can get features added. Now it's obviously not gonna be fast like that Supra. It's a smooth drive, so you're getting compartments from Lexus in a Toyota variant, but then we're already over $50,000. I mean, this is basically 52 and some change. Is it better that you go into a Camry and just lose 4 horsepower and get the all-wheel drive configuration because MPGs is gonna be there? Well, the sound deadening is not gonna be the same because the front windscreen and the side windows for the driver and passenger are also acoustic. So you would hear a lot more noise filtering in. Braking on the vehicle, I did it purposely so you can see it stops on a dime. And it also helps with some regenerative braking. So I've actually increased some MPGs by doing that. And there was no one behind me, so therefore I was being safe. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. Some other pros is the ground clearance is by far one of the best in a sedan world because typically you're about 5.5 inches or a little bit less. One of the best vehicles with MPGs. You get a pretty decent sound system, but then going back to some cons, you have to really go into the limited trim in order to get anything because the XLE, you actually lose a few features. You don't lose that many, so justifying a $46,000 price point, the only reason why I would go this route is because you can get those extra features that put you in the nightshade in the platinum look, but you're not getting the same performance, which is kind of the big problem I have with the Crown. You can't get the same power out of the Platinum in any other trim. And when I'm at a near $46,000 price, it does give me room to look at the Camry, go into like an XLE, get all the standard desirable features, and you can still add features to it. You may even come out with a savings that way. Maneuverability doesn't feel very wide. The steering does have some weight to it, but that's also because it's lifted up a little bit more so than a traditional sedan. The visibility is good even though the windows are kind of sleek. Some other cons is because it is a hatchback style, you do lose a ton of headroom, which would also prompt me to go into the Camry, and even sitting into the front, you have the same Camry style, so you sit up higher, and the seats itself, they don't have any manual cushion extensions. I appreciate that we have all the power seat functionality, but for tall people, your knees will be sitting in the air. Taking me to the last reason why you may want to option the limited trim is because no vehicle in class gives you this much at under $46,000. Yes, you have to option some features, and this one's featured up around 52 and some change. But even with that, you're still saving around $10,000 minimum from a Lexus. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.